first started going to the library when I lived in Paris in the early 80s and I was a student. And I just loved going to the library. It felt like I was going home. It was sort of a nice escape from the big city life into a small town library and spent the day reading. And I still find it that way.
I've spoken there 2 times, and I was really thrilled at what a great turnout there was, the interesting people that showed up, and the people who are very part of this sort of literary community that exists in Paris. I think it's really special, and I'm completely excited that it still exists today.
I think this is the 3rd year that I've come to the Gala, and I was just thinking, I just remembered that, or realized rather, that the 2 books I've written in the meantime, actually, you know, many of the ideas in there actually come from or have been inspired by people that I've met here or at the library, in the book group.
The link is very strong between the United States of America and France. And through the books, through the culture, we can go on with that friendship. That's the reason why I want to support the American Library.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Gala for the American Library in Paris. I'm Mary Lee Turner. I'm the chairman of the board of this extraordinary institution, and I'm absolutely delighted and very pleased that every single one of you is in the room tonight. Because quite frankly, without you, without your support, your generosity, and your enthusiasm, we simply would not exist. June 6 reminds us all of the special links between America and France, and of the special role that the American Library in Paris plays. You know, as a not-for-profit institution operating in today's world, it's your coming, your participation, your support, your love for the library that makes it possible.
I'm French, and I have loved being in French libraries. They're places of worship. You enter them with awe. The American Library in Paris welcomes you with open heart.
The American Library is one of very few institutions which are independent American cultural organizations in Europe. I happen to be the director of another one in Amsterdam called the John Adams Institute, which has been around since 1987. The American Library is much older. It's got much more of a distinguished pedigree, I think. But it provides this, it's not like a sort of organization that waves an American flag and that sort of thing, but it's a bridge. And this is one of those very crucial organizations that provides a kind of link, a way for Europeans to get a sort of sense of what's going on, what America actually is.
Well, I've been in Paris for a year, and I've spent probably every weekday this year working in the library from 10 to 2 and working on a novel, and it's been my home in Paris. As a writer, it's just been an inspiring, warm, welcoming atmosphere.
I'd like to salute all the authors who are at our tables tonight, who speak at the library and run our book groups and even write their books in the library. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Joyce Carol Oates, our 2013 Gala Honoree. She was at the American Library in Paris today for an interview with a French magazine called Books, and for her first visit to the premises. After that was done, Joyce said she loved libraries and asked if I would mind it if she could just wander around and browse for a while. I must say the sight of Joyce Carol Oates doing her email and reading the International Herald Tribune on a sunny morning in the library was pretty thrilling. So thank you, Joyce, for coming over. I will not cut into her time too much to tell you everything about her. You've probably done your homework already. You know she's one of the great living literary figures in America. routinely mentioned as a future Nobel Prize winner in literature, as she has won every other literary accolade, and a writer of astonishing versatility and productivity in fiction and nonfiction alike, Joyce Carol Oates.
Oh, thank you, Charles, for that extraordinary introduction. It threw me back in time to the many branch libraries of my life, and just I feel almost a sensation of coming home and seeing the shelves of books, and something about the people who work in a library, always exceptionally wonderful people. I don't know how that happens. But it actually is true. Librarians are of some special class. They're just wonderful, wonderful people. Well, my talk this evening is called Inspiration, and all of you can probably contribute to it because we all have inspiration in different ways, and these are very specifically the specific episodes of inspiration in literary history. Inspiration is an elusive term. We all want to be inspired if the consequence is something original and worthwhile. We would even consent to be haunted or obsessed if the consequence was significant. What does it mean to be captivated by an image, a phrase, a mood, an emotion? More usually, inspiration is highly personal. James Joyce is captivated by the city of Dublin, Ireland, and in a succession of brilliantly imagined fictions, short and long, accessible and extravagantly obscure, he commemorated that city as it existed in the early years of the 20th century, more vividly than any photographs or documentaries. Joyce said, apropos Ulysses, the favorite novel of many a writer, that for all its complexity and the Odyssean grit of beneath, it was, quote, a means of capturing the speech of my father and my father's friends. Much of literature is an act of assuaging homesickness, the yearning of the exiled child for his homeland and his past, the bittersweet melancholy of capturing the past, as Joyce's contemporary Marcel Proust also did, by a fantastically intense immersion in memory, commemorations. I must say a lot of my writing is commemorative. The early surrealists considered the world a vast forest of signs to be interpreted by the individual artist. Beneath its apparent disorder, the visual world contains messages and symbols, like a dream. Is the world a collective dream? The surrealist photographer Man Ray wandered Parisian streets with his camera, anticipating nothing but leaving himself open to chance. There is something thrilling about the surrealist adventure, moving out into the world to discover what awaits us, a found image or a found poem. For the writer, inspiration isn't the challenge, execution is the challenge. So those are my examples, so thank you very much.
As an English writer and journalist living in Paris, the American Library has become my literary home. It's a place where I go to research. It's a place where I go to hear other writers talk. It's a place where I dip in and out and find this wonderful array of people there who I don't expect to find. Above all, I'm thrilled when I see a lot of children there. In the end, it's become like a fortress where the word and the book is king. It's almost like a last holdout, and we all will have to support it because we do believe in the book.